All right, we're heading east, easterly, east, one or both, and we're going to take a look at Tract 33. So we've been on quite a few tracks today, and it was supposed to be sunny all day. Instead, it's been sunny/cloudy all day. Hopefully we'll have a little sun when we get to 33. It looks like it lays really nicely, and we'll know in just a minute. The interactive map is telling us we are just about to pull on to 33. Okay. Yeah, it's showing us that we're there. Okay, let me have a look at this here. So the road or the trail crosses over the property toward the north side. We came in at about the northwest corner. From here we are facing east. There's just a little sliver of property on the left from what we can see. And then the vast majority of the land is on the right side of the road. Once we get a few hundred feet in, the road's going to angle a little bit, and there'll be slightly more land on the left than there is now. But either way, the vast majority of the land is on the right, on the south side of the road. I see mature timber on both sides. We'll go a little ways in, and then we'll hop out and take a quick look on foot. So the topo map is showing us that the property from the road, as you go south from the road, stays level for a little while and then begins to slope down, and that there's actually a valley which goes somewhat diagonally through about the center of the property, maybe slightly south of center. This might be a good spot right here. We would usually turn off the truck to keep the noise to a minimum, but we're charging some of the batteries here, so unfortunately we have to leave that, but I think it'll be an issue once we get a few feet away. I'm just taking another peek at the topo map. Yeah, topo shows that from here, the road curves slightly to the right, and you can actually see that. And then at that point, there's going to be a little more land on the north side, but still the bulk of it is on the south side here. So although the north side is pretty and has some nice trees, we're going to focus on the south side. That's where the bulk of the property is. We've got, the sun is out, but it's now so late in the day that it's in our eyes. It's almost starting to set. Ooh, this is nice though. The rule of thumb for us is that anytime you can walk through a property, have some elbow room, very little brush, that generally means there hasn't been logging for quite a few years. It's not always what it means, but generally that's what it means. And in this case, I mean, the only stump we see is that uprooted one right there, and that thing looks 30, 40, 50 years old. As far as we know, the only trees that have been removed for quite a few years would be whatever was necessary to maintain the trail system, and potentially for some firewood. We're not sure what happened before we owned the property, but we definitely have not seen any signs of any recent commercial logging operations out here. That tree probably belonged to that stump at some point, but that tree has been down for many a decade, I would guess. Oak trees can take many, many years to rot away. So here you can see where it, whoops, still had it on zoom. Sorry about that, there we go. So now we're probably 100 feet off the road, and as you look back, if we go another 50 or 100 feet, that's where it starts to slope more steeply. There's a big, beautiful tree right there. Not sure what that is. Is that I don't think that's an oak. From here, we can get a pretty good idea of the mixture of timber We've got oak trees, we've got, looks like chestnut trees. We've seen black walnut trees out here, and maybe a few cedars. But we've got anything from fairly mature timber. I mean, these larger trees we're seeing are probably 50 or 60 years old, I would guess. Depends a little bit on the species. But then we've got hundreds of younger trees too. These medium-sized ones here are probably 20 years old. And then you've got some little guys like this, and that's, I would guess, about a 10-year-old tree. And different species have different growth rates. Sometimes they grow more quickly the first 10 or 20 years, and sometimes it's the second 10 or 20 or 30 years. It just depends. But I love the fact that we can walk right through this without brush slapping us. I would say we could ride a four-wheeler through a lot of this with no problem. I mean, that's a good sign. If you're looking for something that has not been recently logged. Just walk through a little spider web. So the fact that the road goes through the north side gives you access to a good part of the north end of the property, which is nice. I've been looking at our field notes on some of these tracts, and a lot of them, probably including this one, were originally scheduled to be sold as 2 or more separate tracts with the road as a dividing line. And that's a pretty standard way to do it as well. So it would have been Tract 30A and then Tract 30B on the other side of the road, etc., etc. But what I'm seeing now is that it's been decided that it will be sold as one tract. So you actually get both sides of the road, which is nice. I've said in a couple of the other videos, if I would have had the chance to purchase both sides of the road where I live, I would have jumped at that chance. Gives you a little bit of control over who's directly across from you for sure, which is great. So that was Tract 33. I said 30A and 30B before, just when we were talking about the road or whatnot, but this is Tract 33. Definitely check out the drone video. I'm sure we'll have a drone video. The property itself, looking at the topo again from where we were, we could see where it started to slope down more steeply. It goes all the way down to the base of a valley and then actually rises back up, and there appears to be another small ridge toward the south side, and that's pretty interesting as well. So if you were to create some kind of trail to that second ridge, that might be a really nice private spot to camp or to even build a little cabin. Well, we lost our sun completely, our sunshine, I should say. Don't have any sons or daughters out here. Lost our sunshine behind the clouds, but we did get a quick look at 33. Check out the drone video as well. Check out the interactive map. That's always really helpful. And if you have any questions, just let us know.